Talk about bad luck. Jan Blachowicz probably had a run of it leading up to his highly anticipated UFC Vegas 54 fight. And even though he ended up winning the fight, he still had a pretty rough night. But a win is a win, and the Polish heavyweight couldn't be any happier. Keep watching this video as we're about to tell you all about Jan's terrible weekend and more in the UFC. First up, the time of his life. The former UFC light heavyweight champion had the time of his life leading up to the fight against Rakic at UFC 54. Oh, and we forgot to tell you, it was the worst time of his life. Everything just came crashing down on Jan. First he had his car stolen, then he got diarrhea, and wait, there's more. When he finally got back to training after a couple of days, his sparring partner smacked his face so hard that he got a nasty cut underneath his eye. But the fact that he was actually able to maintain composure and still win at UFC 54 is just mind-blowing. Even though he got lucky during the fight, as Rakic literally blew out his knee by round 3, it's still a fair win. A lot of people are arguing that Rakic would have won the fight had his knee not blown out. Rakic landed more strikes than Jan, but the latter had better accuracy, along with an almost successful takedown attempt. And to be honest, after what the Polish fighter went through, we're glad he won. Jan really deserved this victory. What makes things even more unbelievable is that Jan is literally 39 years old. The man's touching 40 years and he's still beating up guys inside the octagon. It looks like he's finally back on track. We've really missed the heavyweight giant and his exceptional striking in the UFC. But for now, he's enjoying life in Vegas to make up for the terrible week he's had leading up to his fight. Next, it's nasty and awkward. Eye pokes are pretty common in the UFC, and in most cases, they don't cause too much damage. And technically speaking, Jan doesn't have a really bad injury, nor was he poked in the eye or something. He claims he was poked in the eye, but we don't know for sure. But the thing is, his injury is just really nasty and awkward. We say awkward because it's on the inside part of his eye, right underneath his eye, if that makes sense. In case you haven't seen it, we won't necessarily tell you to go check it out because it looks really bad. But if you see it, you'll know why we're calling it so nasty and awkward. Anyway, Jan has no idea what's going to happen to it. He says he's going to get a small operation on Monday, but it could go either way. Again, he claimed that it was Aleksandar's finger, but the latter said it was a punch. Even Jan isn't sure what it was. The Polish superstar said that his coach says it was his finger, but he's not sure. They'll have to look at it first before making any comments. He suffered the injury in the first round, but the fact that he was able to go another 2 rounds shows some serious class. It also shows that Jan's injury isn't as bad as it looks, and we're glad. Otherwise, things would have ended pretty bad for the former light heavyweight champion. And now, another title shot? Is there anything Jan can't do? The 39-year-old continues to shock fans and the world of combat with his ability to perform at the highest level over and over again. After winning the fight, Jan sort of touched up on his fighting journey in the post-fight press conference. He talked about how he's faced some of the division's meanest and baddest men and managed to deliver them a beating of a lifetime. Let's not forget that this is the same fighter who put an end to Adesanya's ambitions. After pretty much taking over the entire middleweight division, the last style, Bender thought it would be pretty wise to take on Jan Blachowicz. So, when you think about it, Jan is actually Adesanya's biggest mistake in the UFC. But anyway, if you ask us, he deserves a title shot. But you're probably wondering why. Well, Rakic was the 3rd ranked fighter in the division, and since Jan beat him, that makes him the 2nd ranked fighter in the division. We're not making this up. This is exactly what the lightweight said. Now he's next in line for a title shot. And in case that doesn't happen, Jan is hopeful he'll get the winner from the Glover versus Yuri fight at UFC 275. Looks like a title shot might actually be closer than we think. Finally, he's feeling real good. Anyway, considering how bad things were for Jan a little while ago, we're glad to see he's feeling so good. His stolen car, upset stomach, and eye injury is behind him now after his win at UFC 54. He actually claimed that he stepped in this fight looking for answers. What answers? We don't know for sure, but we think the question was whether he should consider fighting or not. But after the result, the light heavyweight said that this fight has answered all his questions. He's feeling the same way he felt after the Adesanya or Dominic fight. He also added that fighting is like fun. He goes in there, does his job, and goes back home. UFC fighters are brutal, but Jan is an entirely different animal. He literally goes inside the octagon to beat people up and have his fun. Still, this is really good for the game. A dominant Jan Blachowicz in his zone. Just downright deadly. Now it's time for some other UFC news. Starting with the winnable fight. Literally everyone wants to get a piece of Conor McGregor as he gets ready to make his much-awaited comeback to the UFC. Now, one thing's for sure, most of these fighters are after the Notorious because they want the money fight. If your name is next to McGregor's on a fight card, that's just easy money and fame for any fighter, and practically anyone who went on to beat the Notorious became a UFC superstar. But McGregor has a habit of making his ambitions known to the world. He's been talking about fighting some really bad guys like Charles Oliveira and Kamaru Usman. Against guys like these, McGregor is the underdog. Oliveira and Usman easily take Conor, no doubt about it. And that's why Henry Cejudo thinks that Conor should think about setting up a winnable match. And who better than Tony Ferguson? Honestly, it just seems like Ferguson is like a punching bag for the UFC these days. But anyway, we think it's kind of below the belt for Henry to suggest Ferguson is beatable. Let's just leave things to Dana. Next, we have Bisping being Bisping. Michael Bisping always has something really controversial to say. Apart from being an extremely charismatic and memorable fighter, he knows how to stir drama. He's back once again with an entirely new and shocking claim. Bisping thinks that Floyd Money Mayweather has actually gone broke. The guy who literally goes by the name Money is broke. See, we told you Bisping always has something controversial to say. So just how did he reach this conclusion? Well, remember when Mayweather fought YouTuber turned boxer Logan Paul? He actually said that it was the last time he'd ever take part in an exhibition fight. But you guessed it, Floyd is back again for yet another exhibition fight set to take place later this year in Abu Dhabi. Bisping actually thinks that the undefeated boxer has actually gone broke, and that's why he needs to fight every year or so. Hard to believe, but still believable considering how flashy his lifestyle is. The retired UFC fighter also said that just because a boxer has 3 black Escalades with the word money printed on them doesn't mean he's rich. An odd, but certainly an interesting theory put forward by Bisping. So, where's the belt though? As dominant Israel Adesanya gets ready to defend his title against Jared Cannonier on 21st of July, there's just one tiny issue. He has no idea where his belt is. And this isn't recent or anything. Israel claims that he hasn't seen his title belt in months. Apparently, Adesanya thinks the belt is too heavy, and that's why he doesn't carry it around with himself everywhere he goes. The last style bender also said that he doesn't need a belt to be a champion. I'm not attached to it at all. I've been a champion long before I had a belt. Anyway, Cannonier isn't exactly your typical fighter. He packs a lot of power, and his defense is what makes him particularly dangerous. He can eat a lot of shots before getting hurt, and there's already been speculation that Adesanya doesn't have enough knockout power to finish things on time. Has Adesanya finally met his match? Let's see on the 2nd of July. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Does the former Polish light heavyweight UFC champion deserve a shot at the title? Does he still have what it takes to win the title one last time? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos in the future. Thanks for watching.